Compound interest, annual compounding. Annual compounding means we're going to add interest once per year. And then, of course, in the first year, we'll add interest at a given rate. In the second year, we'll end up earning interest on the interest. Third year, interest on the interest on the interest. If this were for 3 years, this would look exactly like our compound increase formula. Of course, it can go on longer, so we could have 30 sets of parentheses. We can simplify it just by using this exponent right here. Here are 3 examples. We're going to invest $25,000 for 30 years. Let's suppose maybe you got an inheritance from your dear Aunt Sally, for instance. You're 25 and you're going to invest it and let it ride for 30 years. Historically, 7% compounded annually in the stock market is pretty reasonable over a long period of time. 3% could be a bond fund. Now we're talking real growth. The stock market, probably goes up more like 9%, but 2% of it dissipates because of inflation. So here's what happens. You put money in long-term stock market, bond market, maybe a CD, a certificate of deposit at the bank. I gave the results down here. Then we'll go through the math to show you how we come up with the results. In the stock market, you'd have $190,000 in real growth. It's almost an 8-fold increase. So for instance, and this would be in today's dollars at 7%. So $25,000 buy you a compact car, brand new compact car at a car dealership. 30 years, you can go to the same car dealership and buy 7.5 of those new cars. That's what we're saying. This is in these dollars. 3%, 60,000 on our way to 61,000. So 25,000, we double our money, and then another $10,000. Still considerable growth, but only 1/3 of what we have here. So that's the premium for taking risk. It's called a risk premium. So 1%. Okay, if you put your money in a bank, government insured, very safe. Right now, you won't even earn 1% real growth, but who knows? In a few years, that may iron itself out. 25,000 becomes 33,000. You end up with an extra almost $9,000 in purchasing power over and above what you started with. Now, first step, state the formula. A equals P 1 plus I to the n. Define the variables. Principal is 25,000. I is the annual rate in this case, which is 0.07, and is 30. Okay, so very easy to find I and N in this case. You normally take them right out of the problem. We're starting simple. And then, of course, we substitute. A is 25,000. 1 plus 0.07 to the 30th. Now in a calculator, you could do 25,000 times 1.07, and we need an exponent key. You can do up caret 30, or some calculators have a y to the x key. It's most likely going to be one or the other. Okay, it could be another. It all depends. A lot of different online calculators. So if you go to an online calculator, use the help button to figure out how to do the exponent. And of course, you can hit the equals or enter key, and you should show up with $190,000. In this case, again, state the formula. A equals P times 1 plus I to the n. The principal is the same. I is 0.03, and n is equal to 30. And you can substitute. We'll end up with A is 25,000. 1 plus 0.03 to the 30th. Okay, and I'll I'll leave letter C to you. I is equal to 0.01. You should be able to figure that out. So we'll be back. Our third video is really just solving for P. Given A, solve for P. It's a lot of the same thought processes, except for this symbol, instead of being times, is going to be division, just like we did with simple interest. We're solving the same types of problems we did with simple interest, except for we have this exponent key, and we generally have a longer duration. If we have a term of 3, 6, or 9 months, the calculation will probably be simple interest. If we have a long duration, like 30 years, then it'll probably be compound interest. Just one interesting fact, Jack Bogle says a long-term rate of return of stock market, 5 to 7%. You can count on that. I think he'd say if you want to be conservative, assume 5%, then you won't be disappointed. If you hire a financial planner and they use a much higher rate, if they want to use 10, 11, 12%, they're probably dishonest. They're trying to lure you into investing with them with a wow factor. And they can come up with pretty impressive numbers down here. And then, of course, you invest with them, and they're not going to be around in 30 years. 30 years, you can come back, and you won't have anywhere near the amount that they give you. They generally, if they use 10, 12, one financial planner I talked to years ago used 14%. Of course, that company's no longer in business. They went bankrupt. So if they give you this figure, 5 to 7% real growth to make some forecasts, they're honest. If it's much higher than that, they're dishonest. It's quite simply put. It's as simple as that. So, okay, that's all for this video.